Well, you've heard all about 3D movies. Now more people are using 3D printers. While many celebrate the advances and the versatility of 3D printing, others are growing concerned over possibly using it to print out deadly weapons. An American gunsmith made this a reality. A user by the name of HaveBlue of AR15.com, a firearms forum, claims to have fired 200 rounds from his part plastic pistol. It's the first successful firing of a 3D printed gun. HaveBlue did not use the printer in an entire gun, only a part called the lower receiver you see there. Well, this component is the only part of the gun regulated for sale under U.S. law and must carry a serial number, that is, unless it's made by someone for personal use. So HaveBlue is not breaking any laws, apparently. So is this another example of how easy it is for anyone to craft their own deadly weapons? Earlier, I was joined by RT Web producer Andrew Blake. He explained the unique process of this printer gun.
Over the last couple of years, they're becoming, I don't want to say necessarily mainstream, but they're certainly breaking through and becoming, for one thing, affordable. For anywhere from just a few $100s to a low-grade consumer model to a few $1,000s for something a bit nicer, you can pretty much, it's exactly what I said, it's a 3D printer. You design something using a CAD design on a computer, you make like a 3D rendered image. You take it, you import it to a big machine, it just looks like a big Xerox, and you import different polymers or plastic or resin into it, send the file through, and within a couple of minutes, couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, you can hold whatever it is you had in your head. You can design, and people have made guitars, people have made keys, people have made little toys. And yes, this one fellow just recently made a gun, or at least most of a gun. He was able to make the bottom half of it, almost all of it, the trigger component, the safety, the magazine. He combined it with a little bit of metal hardware and was able to fire off 200 rounds just like that without really ever having to even go to Walmart and go buy one himself.
Wow. I mean, it seems like you can do a lot. Are there any limitations, Andrew, on what you can do?
I mean, you can't. There's not a limitation to what you can do, but it's limitations to, what you can get away with, I suppose. That's what it really comes down to. There aren't really strict intellectual property laws that apply specifically to 3D printing yet because people don't really know about it yet. I mean, it's been like 20 years since CDRs have been able to let any consumer in America go ahead and replicate any sort of software or music or any sort of digital file. It's been 20 years since that became kind of like a mainstream thing, and people are still trying to figure out ways to regulate that. So now it's not just stealing someone's music, copying it, and being able to distribute it. It's being able to look at something, design it, put it onto a computer, and then actually be able to hold it in your hands. And it's really is that simple. As long as you know a little bit about CAD, computer-aided design, you can design something, and bam, there you go. You just need a few $100s. In fact, Mr. Guslick, who I believe is the fellow who designed this gun, he said that he only needed around, I think he said $30 to $50 worth of plastic to do it. And wow, if you use one of the lower grade machines, could have done it for even cheaper.
Wow, so seems like it doesn't take too many resources to get.
No, I mean, it's amazing that if you can dream it, you can really make it happen.
You can do it.
And it's not just like painting a picture or sitting down and having a melody in your head, going back home and recording a song. It's really as simple as dreaming something and then coming back with this actual tangible object. And people have been using this for years, not really on a consumer level, but people have used it in the industrial sector to design prototypes, come up with basic blueprints. Maybe architects have actually used it in the past to design smaller scale models of properties that they're thinking about building, and they're able to go through it and have everything in scale and go, well, all right, that works out there, that works out there. How can we make it more appropriate to what we want exactly? And you can do that. And the thing with Mr. Guslick was actually saying in an interview that he did a few weeks ago that great thing about this was, he went ahead, he went through his blueprints and went, okay, well, this didn't work out too well. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to go back and do it again. It's just a matter of moving around a couple of points on a CAD design, figuring out how you want it to look, going back and just doing it again. It's not like you have to go and actually order a whole new gun because you like the way this one shoots better or this one holds better. It's really, oh, this is what I have to do to fix it. Okay, I can fix it, and I never have to leave my house. And so, yeah, the bottom half of the gun, what he made actually using different plastics, that is the part that is regulated. That's the thing. That's the powerhouse of the gun. That's what you need to look out for, and that's what the government has a lot of restrictions on. And by going ahead and making that in his own house and just using a little spare parts of metal to build the rest of the machine, yeah, he didn't really necessarily break any laws. He just created something.
And so that is, I mean, that could be troubling to some people. I mean, essentially,
absolutely.
Does this mean that, you know, anybody that, if you don't have a gun license or if your license was revoked, can be, hey, I'm going to take my 3D printer and make one on my own.
Who's going to come into your house and be like, oh, I need to look at your blueprints. I want to know what designs you have in mind. Like, are they going to start arresting people just based on the theory that, oh, they've looked at this, therefore they're going to be able to create it? Because that is very possible. Not necessarily that they're going to do that, but if you have something in front of you, you can go ahead and just make it on any scale that you want. And in fact, the pistol that he made, 22 caliber, he managed to fire off 200 rounds himself. He said it actually worked better than some commercially available firearms. And the 22 is the same, one of the same weapons that James Holmes used last month in the Aurora, Colorado shooting. So he was pretty much able to make more or less that exact weapon from his computer.
All right. Pretty interesting, kind of scary, not sure what to make of it. But
Andrew,
it's
terrifying, but it's
thanks for
brilliant
filling
too.
us in on this.
No problem.
That was our RT web producer, Andrew Blake.